Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Devotions. Pastor Steve here walking with you in God's Word. And we are in Ecclesiastes chapter 8. And we've talked about wisdom. We've talked about meaningless and meaningful. And one of the incredible things about wisdom is we actually get to see how it leads. And that's where chapter 8 is all about. Wisdom leads, and hopefully we have wise leaders. But it's one and the same, as well as what we've talked about in the before chapters. And that is, even though it should be that way, wise leaders and wisdom going first, there's a reality towards wisdom and wickedness and righteousness all playing in the same game. And so that's where Ecclesiastes chapter 8 is speaking towards leadership and king and wisdom. Yet, even in that wisdom, this king who's writing this section, Solomon, sees kind of the reality of life, sees that wisdom always doesn't prevail on this earth, that righteousness actually isn't always rewarded, and wickedness sometimes has some length and some winning as a part of it. And so we come back to this, it doesn't make sense. It's not how I would draw it up. And immediately it circles back to us and being able to say, you're not the one who's drawn it up. You're not the one in leadership. You're not the one with all wisdom. You're not the one that can comprehend everything and understand everything. And so we would call it meaningless. But once again, we just keep our eyes fixed on God, who is king and authority over all. And we just continue to fear him and him alone. Ecclesiastes chapter 8. Let's read together. Who is like the wise man? Who knows the explanation of things? Wisdom brightens a man's face and changes its hard appearance. Obey the king's command, I say, because you took an oath before God. Do not be in a hurry to leave the king's presence. Do not stand for a bad cause, for he will do whatever he pleases. Since the king's word is supreme, who can say to him, what are you doing? Whoever obeys his command will come to no harm. And the wise heart will know the proper time and procedure. And there is a proper time and procedure for every matter, though a man's misery weighs heavily upon him. Since no man knows the future, who can tell him what is to come? No man has power over the wind to contain it, so no one has power over the day of his death. As no one is discharged in time of war, so wickedness will not release those who practice it. All this I saw as I applied my mind to everything done under the sun. There is a time when a man lords it over others to his own hurt. Then too I saw the wicked buried, and as that footnote says really well, right, being able to say, it implies undeserved respect. Why do they get buried? Why do they get that respectful bury, right? And being able to say this. Then too I saw the wicked buried, those who used to come and go from the holy place and received praise, but then were forgotten in the city where they did this. This too is meaningless. When the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, the hearts of the people are filled with schemes to do wrong. So let that judgment be the judgment. Let that decision be the decision. Don't carry it on. If it's wrong, then it has consequences. If it's right, it has consequences. And being able to carry it out. Otherwise, it'll induce wrongdoing. Verse 12, although a wicked man commits 100 crimes and still lives a long time, I know that it will go better with God-fearing men who are reverent before God. Yet, because the wicked do not fear God, it will not go well with them, and their days will not lengthen like a shadow. There is something else meaningless that occurs on earth. Righteous men who get what the wicked deserve, and wicked men who get what the righteous deserve. This too, I say, is meaningless. So I commend the enjoyment of life, because nothing is better for a man under the sun than to eat and drink and be glad. Really kind of all summed up in being able to say, we can't control, we don't know, we don't understand, we can't comprehend why the righteous aren't rewarded what they should be due according to our minds. And the wicked aren't rewarded, aren't consequently coming to the reality and the effects of what they have coming. And so, as this king puts, who's in charge? But more importantly, how do we live? So I commend the enjoyment of life, because nothing is better for a man under the sun than to be provided for by God, eat and drink, and be grateful, be glad. Grateful in the life that you have, grateful for what we have in life. Don't try to fix, don't try to figure out why the wicked didn't have these consequences, or why the righteous aren't getting their reward here on earth, or why the things run the way they do. It's chaotic, it's sinful. It's not going to make sense on this side of heaven. And so, look into your life, eat, drink, because you've been provided for. Be glad. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for who God is. Fear God. Yes, the wicked, their days aren't going to lengthen. Everybody has their day, righteous or wicked. Don't try to understand that. Don't try to comprehend that, but rather live today. Eat and drink. Be grateful for what you have. Be glad. Then joy will accompany him in his work all the days of the life God has given him under the sun. This is what we want. Eat, drink, be glad. God has provided this day that we can actually have joy, the joy to accompany us to do our work, because we've been given this day. Verse 16, when I applied my mind to know wisdom and to observe man's labor on earth, his eyes not seeing sleep day or night, then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun. Despite all his efforts to search it out, man cannot discover its meaning. Even if a wise man claims he knows, he cannot really comprehend it. So stop trying to search it out and seek out all the meanings of every single day and why is this happening? Why didn't this happen? But rather look into your day and being able to say, this is what God has provided. There's great wisdom in that, King Solomon is saying. So live as a good citizen. Do what is right. Fear God in your day after day. Eat, drink, thank God for his provision. Be glad, and actually as you do work, even though sometimes it might feel like it's meaningless, do work, because joy accompanies those who work and are glad and are grateful for the day, for the opportunity to do the work. God provides, always has, he is doing it right now, and he will do that. Trust that. Don't try to figure out the days. Don't try to figure out what's happening, this and that. That just actually expends our energy in a wrong place. But rather, worship God, fear God, and thank him for the day that is in front of you. Thank him for the day that he will provide. Thank him just because of who he is and what he has done. Have a blessed day, thanking God and seeing God in all that you do and all that you say. Take care.